Hello and welcome back to the SuperCoach Corner podcast for another team talk. Yes, it's a little bit delayed, so apologies in that one. Both us and I, as he said in his team talk, have been very busy this week. So yeah, bit delayed, but that's okay. We move. Bit of a different look at the ranks this week. Known to have a couple of red arrows. We've only got one red arrow and still the season rank. So, yeah, scored very poorly again because I am not a Grundy owner. And I was, and then had a few things not go my way, which I'll get into with my team. But yeah, we'll, we'll crack in. This was the team I went in with during the week. And the trades was a big talking point for me. Last week, I was very set on going Zorko and McCluggage, both of them, and holding Naz. But upon further reflection and a lot of chat with Darcy and his brother Brady, and we were just sort of looking at, there's no point me holding Naz because I'm don't have a good rank, and I'm very poorly ranked, but rank is kind of out of the question. And I'm very low down in my leagues. I can't afford to have 560k worth of a player sitting on my bench, even though we are heading into the buy round. So I think I then convinced myself to trade him, and then sort of Brady jumped in my dams, and he was just like, you just need to grab a big dog. And yeah, so a few back and forth and that kind of thing. I think we're pretty set on Naz and Bruin out. And then I sort of floated the idea of maybe I go Zorko, because if I trade a defender, I had to get a defender. So I'd go Zorko, bypass McCluggage because there was a possible tag risk, which obviously he barely got tagged and still scored poorly. And I could bring in Grundy in my flex because I have McAndrew and Gorn. So that's what it was. It was Wang and Bruin out for Grundy and Zorko, which would have been amazing. And then Zorko was laid out. And as you can see by my team, I didn't want to grab any other defender apart from Whitfield. Whitfield, because he's genuinely going to be probably D1 come end of the year. And then Max Holmes getting defensive DPP, I really liked as well. So I feel like he would just slot in here. And then Zorko would have probably just replaced Houston and been my luxury. Whatever order that was going to be, Houston would have been the luxury upgrade at that point to the last one that I get. So that's how my mind was thinking. I don't want any other defender because I need the spot for those other two. Holmes was not guaranteed to get defensive DPP, so I didn't want to risk that. So I went, and I had to grab a defensive eligible player. So I went Whitfield. It did mean I couldn't afford Grundy. But then the week after, I was thinking, I need to find ways to get him Bond. So why don't I just go Whitfield and Bond, which is what I opted for. Boy, was that shit. So, yeah, look, Heaney had the VC with 99, and then I did not going to take that. Bit frustrated with that one. So I went into the C on the Bond. Debut on my side. There you go, 88. So I'm sorry for people that have Whitfield and Bond. Feel like I let them down because my season's just gone from bad to worse every week. And it just, yeah, anyone that I touch is like getting injured or scoring very poorly. So it is what it is. Anyway, go through the side. Whitfield dropped to 79. Debut on my side was very poor, but had that heavy tag from Murdoch. So that doesn't help. Sinclair 139 was good. Lockie Ash 99. I mean, he's moving into that midfield, but whatever. He's ticking along for now. Dan Houston. I mean, we know that he's not a genuine premium, so kind of a fake one at this point. So yeah, he's tracking along for 75. Then Clark 91, Lindsay 96. I mean, roller coaster of Clark. And Lindsay's been awesome. What a hold there. I nearly traded him. Blamirez 36. He's just time to go. He's really killed his cash gen then. Todd Marshall, I'm hoping just gets a game, but I'm loving that defensive forward DPP. Zach Butters 138, which is just unreal. Had the positive matchup with Gold Coast. Heaney 99 with the VC was just annoying. Into Bont 88. Already touched on that. Dacos had a hard tag on him and dropped to 93, so I'm pretty happy with that. Ed Richards had a hard tag to no one and just was shit. 62 is just so bad, man. He's been so up and down this year. And a bad start. Bad guy to start with. I mean, like, he hasn't been dreadful until this week. And yeah, 62. What are you doing against Carlton? Oh, anyway. Finn Callahan, 79, had a tag as well. So I guess 79 was all right. But yeah, West Coast are now the danger side. They started the year with not running tags, and now they're running a heap of tags. So it's definitely one we need to look at moving forward into captains and that kind of thing. Murdoch was the tagger of Whitfield, so it's so good when they hinder each other, and then got hindered by the 250-meter penalties. Sardis didn't play, but I looped on Angus Anderson for 71, so I was very happy with that. Rechko 51. Anderson's had that 20 come out of his price cycle, so he's now going to make a lot more cash. And Sam Cummings been very disappointing since we bought him, thinking that he was going to have the midfield role. Richmond need to do something with this. Like, it's just, his kid's a gun. Just play him in there. Essendon could be a spike game. Hopefully they get him some midfield time, because I think he looks really good around the ball. He takes the game on, gives away a few frees and stuff like that, but takes the game on. And I think that's what we need in our midfield. Max Gawn, 118, looked to be solo rucking with, mostly solo rucking, and Heath was off for a HIA test, and I think he's missing this week, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty big for Gawn owners. McAndrew, 103. McAndrew was the one that benefited the most from the heavy stoppage game that we thought was going to be in this one, because Adelaide have a lot of stoppages, and Tristan Cherry loves a cuddle. So, yeah, it seemed to just thrive against Cherry, and 103 is just insane. So couldn't ask for anything more than that. Especially with his bye next week. I'll flip him soon. Zach Stelzio didn't play. Jeezel 73. I don't know. Everyone's got him, so it doesn't really matter. His year's still been very, very good, averaging 114.8. But they got belted. So, yeah, that's why he was poor there. Sam Flanders, 110, playing a bit more off halfback and midfield. So, don't hate the role. He's going to thrive. I think he's keeper level at this point. Chad Warner, 85. Just going to be a perennial 80, 90 scorer. It's just a bad pick. Look, I knew that with how he was going, and then I just thought he could explode. Just doesn't lost that role, so that's okay. It's just going to give me 80s, 90s. Jason Owen Francis, like, singing his praises after I got him in for that 119. Benefited from the 2 weeks. I mean, everyone jumped on him then, and have, 75, 74, and 61 in the last 3 weeks. So I still think he's a good option with the role, but he's just going to be that roller coaster scorer. So if you don't have him, I'd look at him as like an F7 loop option. He's going to get to low 400k. So with a guy that can spike score very nicely, if you don't have him, I'd definitely be looking at Horn Francis still. As that F7 loop. Philippou, another 80, which is nice, good for cash generation. I think it's nearly his time to go. Ollie Hannaford, I looped on with Lombard, because Lombard dropped a 90, which is huge for cash generation. He's really given that huge spike score to kickstart his cash gen again. So he does have the bye in a week. So depending how much he scores against North, I could flip him at his bye. but we'll wait on that one. And then Artie Jones was a 42. Sort of expect that from small forward, especially in losing side. Sam Walsh, 79. Just really bad. I think he's going to be a luxury upgrade for me. Now, trades this week. I'm getting funky. I think I'm going to get funky. So I've done a bit of buy planning, which I'll get to in a sec. But the trades I'm looking at, I really want to have a lot of the warm bodies on field. And yeah, look, through the buys, you just want playing players. And then, you get a spike score out of a rookie, and then the poor scoring rookie that you thought was going to go well, say like a Murdoch, drops out. So that's perfect to have during the buys. So I want to get rid of a couple of non-playing. The idea was probably Sardis and Marshall. Blamirez is probably going to start bleeding cash if he keeps his spot, and has also got more cash on him. Marshall has the better DPP too. Yeah, so like it's probably better to flip Blamirez this week and worry about Marshall next week, who still could get a game. So I was originally looking at Blamirez and Sardis out, putting Walsh into the midfield. Now I need to grab a defender. So I was going to grab Ryan. Bodie Ryan. Kept his spot, as you can see. Got the green arrow because the teams are out for tomorrow night's game. And then 460k is not a lot. But as we'll get to in our preview pod, the Oscar Steen has gone down with an ACL. That opens up the door for DCAM. Solo ruck. We know what this guy can do as the solo ruck. We saw it last year. 111.3 on the year with some big scores there. It was pretty consistent as well. So I really like this. West Coast this week makes it even better, and a possible Englishless Bulldogs, depending on that one, depending if he gets back. I think that's some pretty good weeks to come. You're talking about a guy that can average 110 for 400k. Like, that's pretty good in my books. And the fact he's guaranteed solo ruck, like they're just going to have the chop out ruck from Dan McStay or like a West or something like that. So yeah, I just love this. The matchups for the rest of the year aren't too bad either. He's going to be handy to have through the buys. Round 14's not too bad for me. So yeah, like after that, he's got Port and Richmond and Gold Coast. There's some pretty handy ruck matchups. Cherry's there, Pitnet, McAndrew, and then you've got what's his name? Mitch Edwards and West Coast again. The last two are pretty tough, but look, got to make them first. And I think this is actually really good buying for a guy that's, going to solo ruck and dominate really. So, yeah, I think at the start of the year he was showing that too. That's why a lot of people were actually like 6% in the competition actually had him for 602k. So 107 in round 0 with an 86 in round 1. Look, they're not the best scores, but they're still not too bad. And then in 2024, he averaged 105, like with a big end to the year. I just think his value is too good to pass up. Yeah, so West Coast this week, Spike got. I can't get up to Grundy. The only way I can get Grundy is McAndrew and Lindsay out, which I don't really want to do. So I'm happy to go that. Was my trades until Peter Wright went down. Now, I think I'm going to go to Peter Wright. Nick Bryan. Peter Wright, if he is definitely ruled out for 2 to 3 months, it means Nick Bryan is going to solo ruck for a long time, provided Vicentini doesn't come in. So Nick Bryan, having a look at this today, his next 3 are juicy. Richmond, so he's up against Bolter or Hayes Brown, so that's a big score there. Then West Coast, who are just leaking points because Bailey Williams. Then it's Carlton, Mark Pittner. He's not even that hard of a ruck matchup. So he's been sharing the ruck with Peter Wright, playing like 50 to 60% game time and scoring 59 and 56. Like if that just goes up to a 70 to 80% game time based on that scoring, he's scoring 70s. So I'm happy with that. On top of the very good matchups upcoming, and the fact that when he's rucked in the past, like 69, 77, 79, before he did his ACL after his bye. So really like that. I'm happy with the 75 average. Then in 2024, dropped an 81, 61, 64, 85, 63. So that's an average of 71. He's only getting better as the years go on as well. So there's a 41 there for no game time, 59 for no game time, 87 in a full game, 24 in no game time as well, 84, 80, 80, and 76. Like we're talking 3 years ago. He's definitely developed since then. He dominates VFL. I'm going to take the risk here. I think I'm trading into Nick Bryan. So I think that's my trades this week. I'm getting both DCAM and Nick Bryan. Bryan, I'm going to hold for the next 4 weeks, maybe flip at his bye. So my thinking here is big score, decent score, struggle against Max Gawn, and then it's his bye. But the Max Gawn game is probably the last bit of that West Coast game, which I'm hoping for a spike score. So that once that West Coast game's out of his system, he probably has a decent break even. It's time to flip him. So, and that's at his bye. So I really like that sort of lineup there. The only thing that's scaring me off this is there's 2 things. Peter Wright's not guaranteed out for 2 to 3 months at the moment. And they could pick Vicentini. So if Vicentini's picked, I'm definitely going away from this and I'll go back to what I had. But if he's not, and he's definitely solo rucking, I think I'm going with this and just take the risk. It's really good buy cover as well because I can, when one of these are on the buy, I can flip Darcy Cameron with, here, let's say it's on Darcy Cameron's buy and then flip that to defense as well. So it gives really good buy cover, regardless. DCAM, I'll see how he goes through his, through the stints through the buy before maybe deciding, as my final upgrade, go up to a Cherry, a Jackson, or a Grundy. But yeah, Bryan, I'll flip for a Grundy most likely because I'm very sold on Grundy. Might be out of reach or pretty expensive, but I sort of expect that. So yeah, that's how I'm looking for that. In terms of buy planning, like round 12, I'm missing Butters, Sheasel, Horn Francis, so I'm thinking I might make up a bit of ground there. Round 13, I'm missing Callahan, Whitfield, Ash because it's a good buy round. It's only 2 teams on it, so that's why I quite liked the GWS boys as well. 14, I'm missing 2 in the back line, 2 in the midfield, and DCAM, so that's okay. I can cover for 5. 5's the most I want, so I'm pretty happy with that. Round 15, I got Heaney, Warner, Lindsay. I'm probably thinking I'll flip by then, or at least on this round, so I'm not counting him. Like Heaney and Warner, probably the only 2. Then round 16 is pretty heavy. You got Sinclair, Bont, Richards, Gawn, Flanders. So there's another 5 at the moment. And look, I'll be upgrading over the buy rounds. I'll probably end up adding, Grundy at some point, who I think's on the 15, so I might flip and get Grundy. I don't know. I'll have a look at that, but I've done some very quick buy planning, as you can see here. It might be a lot to take in, but this is my quick buy planner in terms of I haven't finished it yet, so it might be a little bit incomplete. But these are my trades I'm forecasting, how many I'm missing on each buy, the premiums that I'll have on each buy, rookies available, how much can I actually field. I haven't sorted these numbers yet, so don't look too closely at those. But yeah, this is a rough what I'm looking at. I'm just floating around with some random trades here and there. Just penny pinching at the moment, so I'm just picking random prices. I'm forecasting for Grundy to be 700k, so which he very well could be. And yeah, I don't know, but you feel free to pause and have a look at this, and make something similar. It's really good when you just you don't have to like stick to it obviously and be rigid about it, but I found that like you can see your buys, who's on the buys with SuperCoach Gold on the website and app, whatever, like what was shown before. But when I put it into the Excel here, I just feel like I can structure myself a little bit easier, and I can see, okay, I'm missing, Dacos, Walsh, Ison, and Anderson. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel a lot easier, and I can see how many premiums I've got on each round, with my upgrades in there when I do that. So I can see the amount of premiums and rookies split I can have in each line. So yeah, I quite like how I structure it out. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. Even just write it down, like makes you think a bit more in terms of, okay, should I bring in Max Holmes? I've got a lot of people in this buy. Maybe I'll just forecast it for just after. So then before I can bring forward my Petrarca trade, who I originally had in round 15. So you can look at it that way as well. That's probably more forecasting trades into buys as well. So that's, yeah, a better way to do it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed and saw my buy structure and think that that's helpful. And let me know if you need any help. I'm happy to assist anyone's team. Just check a DM through to the SuperCoach Corner page, and we'll get to it when we can. We get a little bit busy, so we try to reply as quick as we can. But yeah, no. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.